Ja, ik wil back. We are about to get started for the B and C bracket semifinals. We're going to feature sheet 3 for this draw, to start at least, between the Spirit of Curling from Plainfield and the Knockouts from Cape Cod. Just give me a moment while I'm getting all the scoreboards updated properly with the correct colors. For all of the draws. Okay, just getting underway. Got a couple guards coming out and play. Looks like we do have one. No, it's just his feet. We do have, a couple guards to start the end. Again, this is the Broomstones Oktoberfest Open, so we've been curling since 8 a.m. Friday. Getting down to the penultimate draw. Quick around the horn. So sheet 1 is, in case you're interested in more of those games, like I said, we're going to be focusing on sheet 3 for the moment, but sheet 1 is 2 Broomstones teams going at it. We got the Mean Curls, skipped by Evan Mullaney, versus 3 Wieners and a Schnitzel, skipped by Kim Jeanette. Sheet 2 is a Broomstones versus South Shore, so Broomstones Philosopher's Stone, skipped by Albin Silico, against the Worst Witch, skipped by Mike McKenzie. And it's more of a hybrid team because Mike and Colleen are from Broomstones, but I believe they both started at South Shore and still have good connections with South Shore, so their front end is from South Shore. Sheet 3, or feature sheet for the moment, as I said, is Spirit of Curling from Plainfield versus the Knockouts from Cape Cod. Let me pull up those skips real quick. The Knockouts from Cape Cod are skipped by Dave Holbert, and the Spirit of Curling from Plainfield and Charlotte is skipped by Barry Klein. And lastly, sheet 4 is Nutty Stones from Nutmeg, skipped by John Corelli, against Team Glazer from, I think they're out of Plainfield? No, Chesapeake. Sorry, Chesapeake. Team Glazer, so it is skipped by Andrew Glazer, who is a member of Broomstones, but his parents now curl out of Chesapeake. Used to be Broomstones members. Those are the 4 games going on, so if you have a preference for any of those, feel free to jump over to that dedicated sheet stream. But for now, we are going to focus on sheet 3. So the Knockouts are throwing the Red Stones from Cape Cod, looking to try to come around these 2 yellow center guards and get a second rock in the house. They get the rock around the house. Line was perfect, but the rocks does slide to the back 8. Not the ideal position, but still a rock in the house, so anything can happen with it. But because it is behind the house, Spirit of Curling Yellowstones are going to follow it down and get a little bit closer to the button. plenty of room coming around these guards. Will it settle down in time? It nestles into the back four, becoming shot rock, but looks like the knockouts are going to try to live up to their team name and knock some of these yellow guards out of the way. Knockouts do have hammer, so they're trying to open up the middle. Maybe to be able to make a play on that yellow in the back four at some point later in the end to try to score more than 1 point with the hammer. We end up running one of those yellow stones back, and it does clip the stone in the back four. Sliding it to that yellow to be second shot, I believe. Apologies for that. We had someone come up and ask me some questions about things that were going on during the weekend, so looks like we got red sitting 1, trying to draw behind the left guards to sit 2. Yeah, part of the event this weekend is we had a murder mystery for teams to participate in off the ice, give them something to do between games, and we had a good participation rate. I think about half the teams partook in it and submitted answers. And someone was very curious about the answer and realized that they got the correct answer but went about it the completely wrong way. So it's kind of a funny coincidence how they came up with their answer. That red stone comes up a little light. Doesn't quite make it to the rings. And this will give Plainfield a chance to push out that red stone and sit a good amount. They make this right. They could sit 4 at the end of this. Put a little pressure on the knockouts to make their final shot. They get the chip out, that's the primary objective, so they will be perfectly okay with that result. The yellow is now sitting 3. This is the first of skip stones for the knockouts. We have a subplane lead for them today, Matt Hughes, who's been commentating throughout the weekend. Tried to signal that it was a little heavy, but they need to go for line as well. They just rub on that front guard and roll in. It's hard to tell who is shot. Either way, I'm going to assume that Plainfield's just going to knock that out. Nose would be acceptable here, and maybe even a little roll one way or the other, but nose is really nice. Final Yellowstone is away. Weight looks pretty good. Off and on sweeping, that's usually a good sign. Back on again, and they're going to get just a little inside nose, which is perfectly fine. They do knock out the one in the back, so they get the bonus double. So that means they're going to sit 5, because they do have that biter up in the top 12. But it should be a wide open draw for the knockouts. They just need full 8 foot to score their 1. Hammer shots away. Matt Hughes is saying that he thinks it's a little heavy, as signaled by tapping on the head, but it's starting to come down, starting to get a little clean. A few brush strokes to make sure that it goes into the house, and this is looking exactly what the skip should be able to do, which is draw the button. So a very nice shot from the knockouts. So that'll get them their 1. That's a nice pressure shot. Facing 5, you never like that, but nice, cool, calm, collected delivery there from the skip. Winners of these games today will get the right to play again immediately after this in the finals. There will be a scrape in between, so they'll have about a half hour, 45-minute break. These teams have enjoyed some nice weather this weekend. If unseasonably warm, it's been highs in the low 80s yesterday and today. Friday was a much more fall-like day, just around 70 degrees, but hopefully we'll get some similar dry weather next year for the 10th anniversary of the Boo. We have some special things planned for next year, so if you've been thinking about joining the Boo or trying to play in it, next year would be a good time. We'll probably have the lottery system in again next year, as I think we had 40 teams sign up for 28 spots this year. I think we're going to look into expanding it to 32 teams next year, as it is an anniversary year. Get a few more teams involved, so if you want to get your curling season started early next year, come play in the Boo. We're getting some Reds opting to draw into the house here, and usually a team with hammer, you don't want to have center guard, so Red has taken advantage of a yellow center guard, and it looks like they're calling for the run back, which with the miss being what we like to call the peel of shame, where you peel off your own guard. And they will make that peel. So with yellow peeling off that guard, red is just looking to replace it more or less. And this is looking really nice. Nice center guard. It's most of their stones in the house buried. Oh, yellow could have the option to try to throw like a lightweight hit and roll behind their corner guard. So we'll see what they decide to do. They're going to draw in behind. Yellow draws in, they wick off the one in the top 12. It does spin in to sit shot, but it is wide open for red to hit. Yeah, they got a pretty wide broom, so must be just a little tap back. Yep, they're calling for a tap. This is looking like a heavy draw weight. They're trying to push it over. but it just squeaks around the yellow. Barry Klein asking for this rock to be in the top 8 foot. Going all the way out to the edge of the sheet. We have been seeing lots of curl this weekend. It just swings in. So much curl. We're going to put that right on the button. So that's going to have Spirit of Curling sitting too, but knockouts can see a good chunk of the one that was just thrown, and they can see all of the other one, so there is a chance at a double, but it might clip that red on the way by. We'll see what happens here. Not sure what happened there, but I think they were asking for the takeout, and they threw one in the top 12. So, things not going the knockout's way this end. Does the skip realize that his broom pad fell off? Don't want to leave that on the ice, because that would be a burnt stone. Any piece of your equipment touches the stone, it is a burnt stone. This looks like guard weight, so it's more about what line they want to leave it on. I'm going to get about, I think, just to the right side of center line, just barely touching center line. This is looking nice. Yeah, it's a nice guard. Well thrown, well swept. Alright, now the knockout's in a little bit of a pickle now. Looks like they're trying to angle run this previous stone back. This one does have a little more weight to it. And I think it's going to over curl, yeah. Over curls, basically giving Spirit of Curling another guard, but the only problem here with Spirit of Curling is I don't think they can get more than 2 this end, the way things are shaping up. These knockouts do have one touching the side button, and it's going to be very hard to remove safely. So I think they're just going to try to throw up some more guards and take their 2. One has a little more weight than the previous. This one's going to coast into the house. right up to the top 4 in freeze with their 2 stones in the house, but it's not going to be shot. Like I said, there's that red stone in the side button. When you're the hammer team, you're happy to take 2, so... Knockouts are talking about what they want to do. Looks like they're going to try to run something in from that left side. Not entirely sure what they decided on exactly. But I assume it's going to be something, trying to run something back into the pile of yellows. Do not want to chip out their own red, though. So they are running a little bit of a risk. And they just peel off one of their guards in the end. Which isn't a bad result. That one was kind of in the way of running back the other 2 possible reds, so this will give them a little bit more flexibility on their next shot, unless Plainfield decides to put that guard back, which is what he's motioning that he wants to do. Putting the broom way above the tee line. That's how much it's swinging, though, because they want to keep a corner guard. Don't want to get back to the center line. That'll be something to keep an eye on, as, like I said, we're getting 6-7 feet of curl this weekend. Weight looks great. They just need to... I don't know if they need to sweep this. Sweeping it's just going to drag it closer to the center line. Yeah, the weight was fine. They might still have an option at one of the reds to run back. It does cover up the one closer to the center line, which I think is the important one. Because the one further to the right on the overhead view is going to be harder to run back into the yellows because of that center line red one. It'll probably rub on the way there. So yeah, they're not going to mess with that. They want to make sure they keep their red in the button, in the side button, and just limit this to 2. So it looks like they're going to probably try to throw a guard, make sure that yellow can't do any soft weight taps to maybe try to nudge that red one out of the button, out of the 4-foot. It's going in a little deeper than they wanted. They're going to get the rollover. So they'll have the line that they wanted. I'm trying to see if there might actually be a play to nudge the red out of the 4-foot, but I think if that happens, they might lose one of their yellows. I think the most they get is 2 anyway. I don't think there's a shot for 3. This might be a case of just take your 2, and I mean, if you tell teams that with hammer that they're going to take 2 this end, I think most teams would be happy with that. Well, you might be trying an in off. That's definitely the least risky play. If he makes it perfect, he could take 4 actually. This is not an easy shot. But I don't think there's any risk, so no harm in throwing it. Needs to hit it pretty thin. It's got the weight. And it's just going to overcurl. But again, no harm in trying that shot. It's a really tough shot. You got to hit maybe like a little less than quarter of the rock to be able to redirect that in, so. But they'll take their 2. They'll take the lead. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab some water or something. We're back. Looks like we have a pretty open house so far this end. See a lot of rocks already in the back of the garage. No rocks in the house. Couple rocks in play. And here's a flash on the takeout attempt. One of those rocks is in no man's land. The Spirit of Curling's going to try to come around their lonely center guard. Nice draw weight, but it's going to hang out a little bit if they get any of it buried. They're opting to get it buried well behind T. Bad result, but with this ice, there's definitely enough curl to be able to bump that out if the knockout's so desired, but I think they're just going to try to beat them to the 4-foot. Still just the one rock in the house. Teams are trying. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here. Looks like red was heavy one time, then light another time, and it's near the end of the weekend. These are teams' 5th, maybe even 6th game of the weekend, and if you're a club that doesn't have your ice in yet, and this is your first time curling since the spring, your muscles are probably feeling it right now. Even for Broomstones members, who we've had our ice in for about 2 weeks now, and even our members are feeling it too. So these early season spiels can be tough. Knockouts starting to change strategy here of peeling some guards. If the yellow's behind the tee, I don't know if I fully like this, but they do make the peel. I mean, another thing they could be thinking about too is possibly a blank. So getting rid of that yellow guard could allow that opportunity to blink the end. Because I think if they just hit that left side of the top yellow stone, both yellows should go, and the shooter could also spill out. So. Barry Klein's trying to get another one around the center guard. Preferably keep it on top of the house. The line is looking great. Weight's looking really good too. We're going to get at the top 8. Nah, top 12. Not a bad result. Keeps some separation. Makes it harder to get rid of all 3 of the yellows, so it's going to have to, it's going to make knockouts, change strategy, and try to beat Spirit of Curling to the 4 foot. This rock, unfortunately, looks like it's a little light, a little narrow. It's going to make his draw on that left side even harder, if that's the way he prefers to come. Since that's the handle he chose for this shot, so I would assume that's his more comfortable side, since they're about equal, and we've had a lot of rocks down the right side, the outturn side. Devices were discussing something, not entirely sure what. Barry Klein's gonna look to stick another one in the house and sit 4 and put the pressure on the knockouts again. If I recall, in the first end, knockouts had to draw the 8 foot against 5, so we made that one. This one's looking to be a little bit harder though. This is where you can leave this rock in a few different places. You can bring it all the way into the 4 foot, or you can leave it in the top 12 to take away the draw path through that 4 foot on that side. Because that left side, the intern side, is already blocked off a little bit. And this one's going to come into the 4 foot, and behind the 4 foot, behind the tee line. So the knockouts are going to have to follow that down. They'll have some backing to use. But they still need to throw correct line and weight. They can't throw to the backing, as it is fully buried. This one's looking a little heavy. Trying to sweep to push it back, but I think it's a little too heavy and too late for that to happen, and that's just going to sail right on through. So that's going to be a steal of 4 for Spirit of Curling. And the Plainfield Charlotte team. So that's going to put Spirit of Curling up 6-1 after 3 ends of play. As we head into the 4th end. Put up a nice center guard to start off the end. 2.5 guard, right on center line. See if the knockouts can get a little bit of a setup here to generate some of their own offense. That's a good start. It's a nice tight corner guard. Very important to keep that out of the house as you're trying to make a comeback. Don't want that to slide into the rings, because then your opponents can hit that rock. If it's out front, we have the free guard zone. First 5 rocks out in front of the house cannot be removed by your opponents. Spirit of Curling has another center guard. This one's slightly staggered. A little bit of overlap there, so that's not bad. But with the slight stagger, it does give red the option to come around the center guards, because it makes it really difficult to run back. And this is, again, the line is great, but it's going to slide behind the tee. How far will it go? All the way to the back line. I think it just hangs on and looks to be biting. This weight looks really nice. That's the shot you like to see from yellow. Right behind cover, top 4. Can't do much better than that. So So now that the first 5 rocks have been thrown, that paves the way for Red to start removing these guards. And like I said, with the slightly staggered front center guards, it's going to be hard to run anything back. So these are probably just going to be some straight peels. This one's hanging out wide though. Hanging out wide, and it's actually going to spill their own, hit their own, and stays in though. You want to keep those biters around just in case you can remove that stone in the forefoot. Could be a bonus point at the end of the end. It's going to allow Spiel curling to just keep piling on the pressure. This line's looking great, but they need to sweep it to get it in. They're going to be biting. Not sure if it's second shot. I think it's the red in the back. But either way, that acts as a third guard for their stone in the forefoot. So it's still a good result. Another peel attempt. This line's looking better. Stuffs it on that third guard and leaves a shooter, so not the ideal result. You want to at least get rid of, you don't want to trade rocks, you want to remove rocks when you're trying to peel. Also shifts the angles around. Still going to be hard to get to the one on the forefoot. Looks like Plainfield's asking for a slight tap back. I don't know if you need the tap. I think just throwing top 12 again is perfectly fine. You start moving things back to the T-line back 4, that could allow for your opponents to be able to throw that same weight draw and then push you back and sit shot. But this is going to come up, this is going to freeze. So just a little nudge. That's okay. That's fine. You don't want to push it back behind T. Yeah, knockouts have no choice but to peel off something. Looks like they're going to try to peel their own. I wouldn't mind trying to peel off the top yellow and catching your own red on the way out. Try to remove 2 stones with 1 throw. Looks like she turned it in just a hair, so it's curling a lot. And again, they do slide that guard over a little bit, the shooter over, so it does expose a little bit of the yellows in the house. But they're not removing stones, they're just trading them out. So now I think yellow definitely wants to put that guard back up. Don't want to bring this one into the house, but if you do, you've got to make sure it's buried, at least touching center line. Don't want to hang it out for a double opportunity. This looks like nice guard weight. That's very nicely done. Plainfield's starting to find their draw weight. Hughes is coming down the... I think he's trying to say that it's still the Vice's throw. She has to throw 2 rocks. It happens. It's a long weekend. We're going to get another peel or run back attempt in the knockouts. This one's looking pretty good. And there's a successful peel. See 1 stone going to the left, 1 stone going to the right. That's what you want to see on a peel attempt. The only problem is it might be too little too late in this end. Barry Klein is just going to try to put that rock right back. Weight's looking great for a guard. Line's looking pretty good. I don't think they need to sweep it. And that'll settle in. That'll work. That'll do the job. Angle's a little bit different now. Still not great for red. Could think about trying to run in his corner guard at some point. I don't like that on Skip's first rock. I like it more for a desperation attempt on the second. Because if you miss the first, if he goes for the angle run in on the first shot and doesn't make it, then he's not going to have anything to do on his second shot. Looks like he might be calling the cold draw around the left side. It should be there. It's very precise. You have to land it exactly in the forefoot, maybe touching the button. No backing. We haven't thrown this line a lot, so we don't know the speed. We don't know exactly how much it curls. And it's looking a little light out of hand. And the sweepers are just going to have to watch it as it settles into a guard. Yeah, that's a tough shot to do because we've seen Plainfield draw that right side all end, so they know that speed, they know that weight. So trying to come around the other side where you haven't played it all end could be running a little bit slower just because the frost is built up a little bit more. Hasn't been swept as much, so not quite as polished. Looks like Barry Klein is going to try to throw a guard on that line now. Take away that draw path. Could even come in, and I don't mind a top 12 guard on that line. But he's going to stick with the line he knows. This is where now you could try to bump that back to the button and severely reduce the scoring area for Red's last draw attempt. A little bit of a fishtail coming out, but stone is away. Line seems a little tight. Sweepers need to go, I think, for line. It's looking light, too. I don't think they're going to get it there anyway, but they will clog it up even more. It does roll off a little bit. There's no angles for Red to run anything back. I think knockouts have decided to try to that draw around the left side again. Let's see if you can make the adjustment here. Otherwise, it's going to be an 8-1 game, and might even be handshakes if he doesn't make this. Boy, I think the sweepers like the weight, but it's starting to curl. And unfortunately, they bump the yellow end, but they spin in enough to just keep it to 2. So it's going to be 2 more for Spirit of Curling. It is now 8-1. And we might flip over to sheet 4. Sheet 2 is also an 8-2 game. That's the other B semifinal. Sheet 1 is 2 Broomstones teams, but Sheet 4 has some out-of-town people, so let's switch to Sheet 4. This is the Yellow Hammer coming down. Looks like Red is sitting 1, so Yellow is Team Glazer from Chesapeake and Broomstones. And it looks like it is still a steal of 1 for Nutmeg. So Nutty Stones is going to take a 4-1 lead after 4. They are playing in the C bracket, C event semifinals. They had their quarterfinals earlier at 8 a.m. Again, if they win the right to play a triple header for the finals of the C bracket. So first rocks are away. Nutty Stones drew into the house, and now Team Glazer is looking to hit. Don't normally want to hit when you're down with lead rocks, and this one flashes. Need rocks in play to score. So it looks like Crowley and Nutty Stones are trying to get the guard this time. Don't hate drawing in when you're ahead, but 3-point lead is maybe a little, isn't quite as comfortable for me as I would like. But this one's also going to glide on into the house. We'll see that a lot of times in competitive play, where if they're ahead, they put their first stone in the house, knowing that their opponents are not going to hit it, and they're trying to set up their corner guards and set up their offense. But Corelli did definitely call for a guard. This one just happens to slide in. Another takeout attempt for Team Glazer. And he just nudges it. Not enough to hit it out of the house. Does split the house a little bit more now. And this is the closest remaining game after 4 ends. Sheet 1, Team Jennett is up 7-2 over Mulaney. Sheet 3, Albin Sliko is up 8-2 over McKenzie. And as we saw for the first 4 ends, Spirit of Curling and Barry Klein is up 8-1 over Cape Cod in the knockouts. So this is the closest game after 4 ends at 4-1, so that's why we have switched over to it. We're now getting a nice little interesting triangle. Got both sides of the 4-foot and the top of the 4-foot now. No triple, but probably trying to look to double some of these rocks out. This is looking narrow. Might get the one on the left. So knows the one on the left. It'll sit second shot. I think Corelli would be happy to nose that right back. Sweeps from Nutmeg. Pounding that stone the whole way to make sure it makes contact with the yellow. Now I got a nice little diagonal line going. So again, not really a triple there with a diagonal line. Most you can probably get is 2 of these out. I could control weight. Line looked better, but still a little narrow. Brad's trying to sweep it and hold the line. And it's just going to follow that diagonal line and only get one of them out. Pushes it to the coffin corner, as we like to call it here at Broomstones. The space behind the tee line, but not in the house. Some people like to call them tripping hazards. Now Nutty Stone's Vice, Jake Ness is trying to draw another one into the house. Sweepers are pounding it the whole way. But it's going to come up a little short. It's good center guard. But I think they were looking to bring that one in. Takeout attempt stuffs yet again, leaving the one redstone in the house. Shooter spills out. This will give Nutty Stones a chance to draw behind their new center guard, but they're looking to guard Shot Stone at the moment rather than draw behind. Although, if they come around the right side, they have the option to do either. If it's a little light, you leave it as a guard. If it's T-line weight, you can bring it behind your center guard. So a nice flexible option here. Plan A, Plan B. We'll be happy with either. This one's looking like it's hanging out a little bit, so they're trying to push it to the guard spot, and yeah, that's great. Top 12 guard, perfectly in line. Yeah, just a little more about the Broomstones Oktoberfest Open Bonspiel. We say it's an open Bonspiel, but it's actually a modified open. What that means is there is no restriction on throwing order, but each team needs to have a member of both genders. So that's why you see, for example, Nutty Stones has 2 male back-end players, 2 female front-end players, and Team Glazer has Roseanne throwing second and then vicing. So it's not a true mixed format, but you do need both genders on your team. We do have handshakes on sheet 2. That is going to be Philosopher's Stone, which is Broomstones Sleeku, with the win over the team from South Shore. Brad was able to make the hit and roll on the newly thrown guard, so now John Corelli is going to try to knock out that yellow stone and give up no more than one. Or ensure that they don't give up more than one, I should say. They do get enough of it to knock it out. Could set up a blink in now. There's only one guard out front and 1 stone in the house currently, so I think Andrew is going to opt to try to hit and roll underneath the guard first, because you don't want to roll out here and then John can make a nice draw behind the guard and make it really difficult. So you kind of want to get there first, but you want to leave yourself with the option. Even like a hit and roll to the open side would be okay. So you definitely want to keep the shooter around in this situation. Roll under is nice, a roll to the open is nice. Nose is probably the worst because then John can try to roll underneath. And they do get a little bit of roll under, so that's very nicely done, but from Andrew. Does slide behind the guard. It is behind the tee just a little bit. Looks like they're electing to try to do the freeze, which is kind of a risky call. It's got to be perfect weight, perfect line. And if it's not perfect, then you give up you're giving up a chance for Glazer to score 2. So nicely thrown rock from Andrew there on his first. this is starting to hang out a little bit. I think the weight's fine, but the line is not going to curl. Back to freeze. Yeah, it was good T-line weight. And now Glazer is going to have an open hit and stick for 2. Final rocks away. Brad is sweeping out of hand. Looks okay. It's more just making sure that it doesn't do anything crazy, and sure enough, gets the hit, gets the little roll in, and Glazer's going to take his 2. So 2 nice shots from Andrew there. That's going to make it a 4-3 game, still in favor of Nutty Stones. It's a hybrid team from Nutmeg and from Broomstones, thus the Nutty Stones. They've been curling in this event for a good number of years now. Most of the team is still intact. They have some players switch in and out. Of course, Team Glazer is a family affair. So Brad and Roseanne used to be here at Broomstones. They retired down to Chesapeake area I think it was about 2 years ago now. Skip Andrew is still a member here at Broomstones. And their lead is Austin Bannister today. I think his assume it's his wife, Allison Bannister, is listed as the 5th. I think she definitely has played a couple games. So we got both lead rocks are currently in the house. This is the coming back home to the near side. Is the worst angle for us to see up here in the commentator's booth. From where I'm currently sitting, I can only see about a third of the house. That one does come in right onto the button. Looks to be mostly open, so they could do like an opt for a lightweight hit, tap back. That's what it looks like. Broom in the middle, 12. It's probably maybe like a back line, hack weight at this. Weight looks good. Jake is on the sweep to try to push it over. I don't think it's going to come over enough, but that is, I think that's the weight they were asking for. That's backline to hack. will give Team Glazer a chance to get a center guard up and protect their one on the button. Again, they're trying to sweep to push this over, so this side might not be curling as much as they are expecting. As both teams are, well, they are able to sweep it back to the center line, so that is a nice guard. Could still possibly run the red back if they desire. I think that's what they're asking for, just a bump. It's like backline, wait again. It looks pretty good. Sweeping now a little bit for line. Always like to see the on-off sweep. That usually means it's pretty close. Does bump it back into the yellow, but not... I think yellow is still shot, but it is now behind T. That's not a bad result. It's going to be difficult for Glazer to remove that red at the current situation unless they run back their yellow, but that could be risky. So a good result for Nutty Stones and Lauren. The little tap back. A little bump on the guard, moves it over, makes it a little bit more difficult to tap the red again if that's what Corelli wants. Now he's kind of saying maybe just draw right to that yellow. The way this ice is swinging, maybe? That should be enough room to get to the yellow, to get to the nose of the yellow with T-line weight. I don't think you can have enough weight to bump it back. But you could definitely get to it with T-line. And unfortunately, this one's going to bounce off the sidewall. Trying to make sure, get out to the broom. Again, this is a C bracket game, so this is their second game of at least a doubleheader. So one of these teams is going to play a triple header. That is known as the Sea Slog. Glazer gets another one into the button. I think they bumped their initial shot stone back, and they're still just sitting the one. So now Corelli is saying, let's blow this thing up and open up the front. Don't mind this call, you have hammer, so you want to get rid of those center guards. nice normal weight takeout. He was peeling off the other guard. I thought he was going for the centers, but they had the inside out handle on. But still, not a bad result. Gets rid of his guard. Gives them access to that red in the forefoot, touching the button. Andrew's thinking about if he wants to make a play on the red. Just a little tap. Get it behind T-line. And he's saying backline wait. You want to make sure that this at least gets to nose. You do not want to bump this on the outside. So this is kind of a risky call. Looking pretty close. Sweepers are on, sweepers are off. That's a really good sign. And they are going to get past nose. That's going to be a nice little bump. They do push it the shot rock. But there's not a lot of protection with it. Crowley's asking for the guard. I think I'd still try to get rid of some of the center guards because there's a good chance that red's not going to be there too much longer. It's not in a good enough position for me to guard. I'd like to somehow get a better position. I like maybe like a corner freeze to the top yellow. We'll see what happens. This is looking like a good guard. Yeah, that should be fine. Covers up the red. So now Andrew's looking to run in one of these guards. I think he's looking at maybe trying to run the red into the top yellow on the left side and push that yellow back into the red. This would be a high degree of difficulty. You gotta hit the red pretty thin, which would hit the yellow pretty thin into the red, so you need a lot of weight. All those energy transfers happening, hitting the rocks at such thin angles. I'm going to expect a lot of weight here. Yeah, that's peel weight. Needs to hit the top red pretty thin. Does not. Runs it into the red, which bumps into the yellow. And now it's no question that Pirelli is sitting shot. And the yellow shooter stays as a guard. It's going to be tough for Nutty Stones to get two. With the current setup, but at this point you got to make sure you take her one. Crowley's just trying to throw a guard, trying to protect the one in the house on the button. Don't want to have this free. Okay, that should be okay. Overcurls past nose. So that takes away that yellow run back. Can't really do anything with that rock. So that's a good guard. He's trying to line it up. I don't know if it's there. I don't think there's enough separation for this to do what Andrew wants it to do. Brad was looking to see if maybe the draw was there. Again, it's almost a full rock buried. He could get there with T-line. I don't think he could get there with back 4, back 8. Push the red out enough. Here comes another rocket. I don't think the angle's there, but we'll see. Nope. Didn't hit it where he wanted to, first of all. Again, Crowley though, it's going to be tough to score 2. Could try to draw the right side. But again, you don't want to be... If you're too heavy and a little wide, you could give up a steal here. Gotta be pretty careful with this. Coming down, sweepers have no interest. It doesn't look like it's heavy. Now they're on it. I think they got on it a little too late. They're going to be okay with the 1 though. I think it had to be absolutely perfect for them to get the 2. So Crowley's going to take a 1 point in the 6th. They're going to go up 5-3 after 6. We have handshakes on sheet 3. Plainfield takes 2 more in the 6th, and they're going to hit shake at 10-2. And I'll be back after a little bit.
Okay, all right. I have not met you for
Alright, we're back. Looks like we had a stone that just got over the hog line on the center line. And then the first Yellowstone either flashed or didn't make it across. Wasn't sure exactly, wasn't watching. And the second stone from Corelli comes in a little deep, and then Andrew tries to freeze on it and comes up a little deep as well. Does freeze to it, I guess. Not quite frozen, but still behind tee. So now Corelli's asking for, it looks like a soft weight hit. Try to split that yellow back out of the house without touching his red. Weight looks good. Looks like it's starting to over curl a little bit. Trying to hold the line. And he does crash on his red. Does make contact with the yellow, pushes it back a little bit further, but loses his red in the back four. Does keep the shooter in the button though. Score update on sheet 1. Team Mulaney takes 4 in the 5th and forces 1 in the 6th, so they are starting to claw their way back. They were down 7-2 after 4. Now it is an 8-6 game, and Mulaney does have hammer in the 7th. But back on sheet 4, it looks like Glazers called for about the same thing, a nice lightweight hit, remove the red and keep their shooter in, and that will be successful. Gets all the way back to nose, avoids jamming on the yellow in the back. Corelli will give it another go with the same call. Weight looks pretty good again. Asking for the push this time. Looks close. Should come back enough to at least make contact. Does rub the yellow on the way out, so it pushes the yellow that was in the back 8 to the back 12 now. And does remove the yellow from play, so not a bad result. Probably would have liked to keep shooter, but as long as making contact and getting rid of the yellow is the main objective there. If you are Team Nutty Stones, you're looking at the scoreboard, you're up 2 without right now. You're probably okay giving up a 2, but you don't want to give up any more than that. This one's going to be nicely behind the guard, top 8. Half buried, I guess. Camera angles aren't the greatest, and I don't have the greatest angle from up on our commentator's booth. But Corelli's asking for another hack board weight hit here. Thrown it 2 times down the same line, more or less, so why not make it a third? Sweeper was on it early, but now they're off. Now they're pushing. Weight looks good again. Line looks pretty good. And this time they will keep the shooter in and push that Yellowstone just out of play. Looks like to me red is shot. Andrew's checking him out, and he's agrees. He wants to get rid of the red. It's saying, hey, let's throw control. Try to get a roll to the behind that center guard. do make contact, but they don't get the roll. That's not a bad thing. It's perfectly okay to nose that with hammer. Does make the double tricky. If Corelli goes for the double, they will lose the shooter. But I think he's asking for the hit and roll instead. If it hangs out, you have a plan B. So you have options as to how you approach the shot. Except they're trying to push it back a little bit. Should make contact. Will they get the double instead? No, it's going to go just underneath. Again, you got the primary objective. You have to make sure you get at least one of those yellow rocks out. But with losing the shooter, this allows Team Glazer to draw underneath, which is much easier than hitting and rolling underneath. Sweepers are on it. This is looking light. They're going to have to pound it to get it into the house. Brad tries to help sweep his own zone. I think loses his balance a little bit and prefers to stay upright rather than trying to sweep it further. But it is comes up pretty light. Will be a 2 guard. Looks to be almost perfectly in line with the red guard. This will give Corelli a chance to... He's trying to hit the yellow, which is okay. I don't hate that. Again, we're getting down to the final ends. If he can make this yellow go away, that will mean Glazer might have a tough time getting 2 and might have to force a 1. Could even blank if he wants to. This looks pretty tight. Sweepers are on it. They need to get it by both guards. And they're on the front guard. That's unfortunate. It'll bring the 2 back in play for Glazer, maybe even the 3. So rock is away. Positioning is important here. You don't want to leave a double opportunity. And I think they will leave a double opportunity as this is well wide. Not going to get behind the guard. Sweeping it back as much as they can to try to make it even and make the double as hard as possible, but they leave a nice little pocket there. This is where it gets interesting. John could try to hit him out, or if he could somehow freeze in the pocket. It looks like he's opting for the hit with that broom, although they're still talking about it. If he can freeze through the pocket, there's no way to get his stone out of play. It would bring the force of 1 into play. But if you opt to do the draw, you better make sure you get it there. But it looks like they're going for the hit, which I don't hate, but you got to make sure you get rid of one of the yellow stones. You can't not crash on the guard. You can't flash. Don't want to give Glazer 3 here. Pretty close. They're going to get one. They're going to keep the shooter. No, they're going to spill it out enough to be not shot rock. So Glazer will have an open draw to the 12-foot for his deuce. Which would make this a tie game going into the 8th. Rock is away, they're pounding it pretty hard, but it looks pretty good from here. Should be able to get this into the rings. Just need 12 foot. Did they oversweep this? No, it'll settle down. It settles into the back 12. That's going to be a score of 2 for Glazers. It's going to be a tie game. Nutty Stones will have the hammer in the 8th. We'll pop over to sheet 1 real quick. Hammerstone is coming there. Team Mulaney throwing red rocks has a chance to score 2 and tie that up going into the 8th end as well. Rock is away. Switching sweepers again. It's usually a good sign, but this one's hanging out a little bit. It just needs to stay full 8, and that spills out. So Mulaney only takes 1. Oh, that was the final end. They didn't beat the clock. Which will make our ice guy happy so he can get the scraper out. So we will pop back to sheet 4 and watch the final of sheet 4. Once again, we got Glazers throwing yellow. They have a just off center guard, 2 guard. Looks like Corelli drew right behind it into the 4-foot, so that's a nice draw from Corelli. Not sure what the call was here, but Andrew says he didn't like it enough to try to sweep it over for a guard, so they're just going to let that one hog. Process of flipping the sheets over and trying to catch up on sheet 4, so I didn't see exactly what Andrew wanted on that shot. Pirelli's gonna... Looks like he wants it top 12 center line. Don't know if they need to keep sweeping for weight. The weight looks pretty good. Although now it's coming down once right before the hog line. They do get it into the rings. That's pretty good. Doesn't quite cover up the yellow or the red on the forefoot. Andrew wants to take out either nose or just flop over a little bit to the center line. As for control, this looks closer to normal. I think he might be trying to audible to the double, but he does get the roll over, although I don't think that's a little more roll than he wanted. Since the sixth rock being thrown, I'm kind of surprised Pirelli's not trying to rip off that center guard. Asking for it to just play, just put it back to where it was at top 12 center line. It looks good, maybe a little less than the previous one. But no, they put it pretty much right back where it was.
Saved by the miss.
Yeah. Yeah, no one's happier. No one's happier than Evan missing that shot than our ice guy Dan O. You can now pull out the scraper and start scraping the ice for the finals. Same idea. Andrew wants to just nose this, keep the shooter right there, give himself a center guard to work with. Nicely done by Team Glazer. And I would like to see Pirelli ripping some of these guards. I don't like giving Glazer all these guards. You just need one to win the game. You don't need two, so keep it nice and open. Don't draw to it. I don't like that. If you corner freeze here and then Andrew makes an angle run back, then it's not looking good for you. To be about the same weight as the previous two, so that, although maybe a hair heavier, they could probably try to bring this around the yellow. It's sort of what he was asking for, was a corner freeze to the yellow guard. But again, if Andrew ever is able to raise that right side one in the 12-foot in and knock out the red, it's not good. Brad's coming down to have a chat. I think Andrew sort of saw what I just was saying, and Brad's saying, what's Brad trying to motion for? He wants to peel out the red guard somehow?
If he hits the red, the yellow will spill. Definitely wrong one.
I understand, but that doesn't leave them with a guard. Unless they nose it.
Oh.
Yeah. So it looks like they're trying to hit the red. Maybe push the yellow away a little bit too as well. Oh, or just stuff it and not really change too much. Although I think they are lined up now to where if they hit the yellow, that yellow's driving back into the red. So yeah, this is where I would like Corelli to rip these guards. I don't like him just putting up more guards and just hoping that Glazer never makes the run back to sit shot. Even a little bump on the top yellow would be okay, because like I said, right now they're currently lined up. That's not going to make it all the way back. This is where we might have some trouble. If all Andrew needs to do is hit that nose. They did make the port tighter. So he'll probably have to come centerline side if he wants to do it. But they're lined up nicely to do it for the run back. Some discussion with Brad. Probably maybe about the weight, the exact line they want to come at, maybe some other options. Can't hear it, but all we have is the hand signals that they're using. But yeah, they're coming centerline side, trying to nose that top guard. It's like normal weight. Sweepers are on it right away, now they're off. I think they need to go. This is going on. What do we got? Yep. There it is. And that's why, if you're Corelli, you need to peel the guards earlier. It's because now he's going to have problems getting in. Back to the forefoot. And it's too late to start peeling guards now. Almost like trying to draw behind that line of guards. You've just thrown the guard that way. Give it about 6 feet more weight. It'll get around the guards and you'll go behind a line of 3 guards. He's opting for the hit and roll, maybe a double option as well. He's going to get the double the hard way, so not a bad result in the end. Still 1 yellow at the top of the house, but that does remove the Yellowstone from the 8-foot, 4-foot area. It's a nice shot there by Jake. Looks like Andrew's going to try to draw around this right side. And again, whoever gets to that 4-foot first behind those 3 guards is going to be sitting real pretty. Weight looks pretty good. Maybe a hair heavy. Sweepers want no part of this. Now it's starting to curl and slow down, but yeah, this is going to go behind the tee line. The question is, how far behind the tee line? It's going all the way to back 12. It's a huge opportunity here for John to stick one in the 4-foot. want to get this all the way to the 4 foot on this shot, because Andrew would still have a draw on the other side of the sheet. So you can't just put it like top 12 or top 8. This weight looks good. It's starting to come down again. I think it's a hair heavy, but I don't think it's as heavy as... they don't need to sweep. They don't need to sweep, or they're sweeping for line. I see. That was also a little heavy. They do bump. It does put Corelli's shot for now, so Andrew does have to at least get it closer to force Corelli to throw the hammer. And this is interesting. They're giving more ice. Looks like they're giving about a foot more ice than last time. So it'll be interesting to see how this impacts the weight, and if there's any frost built up on that outer edges and the weeds, as we like to say. Looks pretty good. Now Brad's on it. Weight looks pretty good. Weight's fine. I don't know if they got buried though. They're gonna tuck a little bit behind, but it should be open enough for Corelli to be able to bump back with basically the same weight he just threw. Just that like back 4, back 8 weight. Kind of like back 8 better. So yeah, they're taking about the same ice as they took on their first shot. Maybe a hair less, if anything. But I like throwing that same weight. Like I said, back 8 to back 12. So the final shot of this game coming down. Corelli needs to either needs to move this rock in the 4 foot. It's about half buried. Weight looks pretty good. It's about the same. Sweeping for line. They get by the guard. And they stay on. Nice shot. Good sweeps from Corelli's front end. Well played. So the Nutty Stones move on to the C finals. They get the lovely privilege of playing a triple header today. But that's going to do it for this broadcast. We'll be back around 1 o'clock for the finals. That'll be all 4 event finals, the A, B, C, and D. We'll run down, let's see. So the C finals are going to be Plainfield Charlotte, the Spirit of Curling, who we started our broadcast with on sheet 3. Yeah, they started on sheet 3. They beat Cape Cod Knockouts. They will be on sheet 1 for the C finals against the game we just watched finish, the Nutty Stones. And sheet 4 will be Philosopher's Stone, the B finals, Philosopher's Stone Broomstones. That's Alban Seliku versus 3 Wieners and a Schnitzel. That's Kim Jennett. So that'll be sheet 4. The D finals, the 3rd place game is 2 inches are better than 1. That's Mike O'Neill's Broomstones and Merrimack Valley team versus the Blitzkrieg, which is skipped by Benj Guzman. And then the A finals on sheet 2. will be Team TBD, skipped by Alex Leichter, team from Broomstones in Philly, versus Team There's a Killer in the House, skipped by Jared Whittish, also from Broomstones. So we'll be back around 1 o'clock, give or take a few minutes, and hope you guys can all join us then. Until then, this has been Sam, and Matt Hughes will be the ones commentating at 1. So hope to see you in about a half hour or so.